All the times that I did it, I never thought that I'd do it. Life's a maze, keep your head high when you're going through it.
How are you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Let me just get this right. I want to make sure my lighting is right, man. I'm a black brother. I got to make sure the lighting is perfect.
The lighting is great. The lighting is great. Don't worry about it.
All right, there we go. There we go. Now we cooking. All right, I'm ready to cook now.
Listen, I'm not even gonna hide it. I am super grateful because when I reached out, it was like, okay, let me just pray and reach out. Right? Because I was like, oh man, I'm trying to climb Mount Everest my first time around.
No, man,
And
stop
I'm
it,
grateful.
man. Stop it. Yeah,
Listen,
we humble, we poor and polite over here, man. It's all good.
Listen, I appreciate it. So
yeah,
I started playing golf about a year ago, and then I got a hold of 7 Iron Golf. I think there was a gentleman that did a video wearing one of your hats. And I thought, I went on the website. What got me hooked was the black glove. And I'm gonna age myself. I'm gonna age myself a little bit because I remember when Mike Tyson was just like eviscerating people. He had black shoes, black shorts. And I thought, okay, that's what's up. Yo, so thank you, man. Thank you. So I want to get right in. What was your inspiration for 7 Iron Golf?
You know, great question. I think I'm asked that a couple times a week. And in all honesty, it all goes back to me. I was a big sneakerhead back in the days. And I just remember in the sneaker culture, when a shoe dropped, a shirt would drop with it, or certain type of apparel or accessory would kind of go with the shoe. And as I started playing golf about 6, 7 years ago, I realized there was a lack of coordination when it comes to different shoes dropping. At that time, there was a few Jordans that were dropping here and there, specifically for golf, outside of FootJoys and some of the other brands. But what was interesting is that I had to just take a look at the space itself. I knew I wanted to sell a product in golf because I love golf so much. I really wanted to see if I can kind of sell a product to pay for all the rounds that I was playing throughout the year. So I said there has to be a product out there that's being undervalued, and I thought it was the golf glove. And I started that process maybe about 4 years ago, really investing into the golf glove, looking into different golf glove materials, shapes, sizes, feels, the whole nine. And then I said, I got it. I'm going to create golf gloves, high quality golf gloves, but they also have to be in line with like the shoe culture as well. So there's different shoes that'll drop, and we want to make sure that we have gloves to drop with the different shoes that are coming out. So that was like the birth of 7 Iron Glove. The name of the company initially was 7 Iron Glove. And at that time, I knew we were going to get into other things, hats, shirts, and so forth. So then I changed it to 7iron.golf. And it was just, 7 Iron. 7 Iron was the name of the company at that point.
Okay. I mean, I understand 7 Iron. That's like the standard. Anywhere you go, if you're trying to get fitted, the 7 Iron. So help me understand what's the connection for you to select 7 Iron as the name of the company?
That's exactly what it was. I remember the first time getting a fitting and someone said, hey, make sure you bring your 7 Iron. And I asked them why. And they said, hey, it's the most consistent club in the bag. We'll be able to kind of see a lot from your golf game by swinging the 7 Iron. So not only did I stick with the 7 Iron logo, or the 7 Iron for our logo and also for the name, but also for what it stands for. It stands for consistency in golf. And that's kind of how our motto is: stay consistent. I think if you want to get better in anything, you have to stay consistent, be determined and so forth. So it just kind of went hand in hand. And obviously I love the number 7. I mean, it means so much. I was also born in the 7th month. It's the luckiest number around. So it just kind of made sense. And in this game of golf, you have to have a lot of luck. So it was the perfect match when it comes to creating a brand.
Wow, I like that, because just as you saying 7 is luck, because I was also thinking, spiritually they say the number 7 is the perfect number and all that stuff, and then you're born the
Right.
7th, so that all came together. But I cannot imagine that being an easy ramp up, right? Like designing a pair of gloves, but also getting it manufactured in the process. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Honestly, I was really surprised that Seven Iron was even available for a name, in
Mm,
all honesty, because, we're fully licensed and trademarked, but it was just really interesting to me that I was able to go and buy the domain name 7iron.golf and also buy 7iron.glove and sign 7iron glove. So I own all those domains, but I was just really surprised that they weren't already taken. And when I realized they weren't taken, I just it hit me that golf is truly undervalued when it comes to their purchasing power and how big the game can actually be. So with that being said, no, it was trial and error, man. I'm gonna tell you, I struck out numerous times because I
mm,
really wanted to get the perfect glove. Reaching out to different manufacturers across the world, um, and really understanding what a golfer want, and what a golfer need. In my mind, I'm going to create a bunch of cool gloves, a crap ton of colors, and rule the world. But the average golfer doesn't like a lot of colors, believe it or not. They're traditionalists in a sense, and they wanted black and white, and I had to start there. And that led me creating like the original white glove that we have, which is the OG. And from that glove, um, having the basic concept for a glove, and I think taking it to different manufacturers and saying, "Hey, I'm reaching out to 10 manufacturers and say, send me a sample." That's all going to cost money. And as they come in, I'm touching, I'm feeling, I'm smelling, I'm putting them on my hand. I want to see how my hand reacts to different gloves, and does it lock to my hand. It was a lot that went into it. It took me about 2 years of testing for us to finally have a manufacturer. So a lot of patience in this game, when it
yeah,
comes to dropping what I think is the perfect glove.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I completely get that. And I think one of the things that I'd like to maybe drill down a little bit more is that if we're kind of like creating correlation between 7-9 golf and the game of golf, right? Golf is very individual game, right? So the way you
Mhm.
play, the way you set up your routine, that's yours. Mine is mine. But yet, when I see 7-9 golf, there is a level of commonality right across it. The minute you put it on, and you mentioned in terms of like, you didn't say those words, but I'm gonna say how golf can be a little bit boring in terms of apparel, right?
Mhm.
Very monochrome, not a lot of stuff. But whenever I feel like the black golf, the different colors, the OG, even the white, even the way the white looks is very different than the other golf. So, what was your process, or at least your connection to making something for a sport that is so individualized, but creating the brand to make it where everyone can really gravitate to it?
Um, a great question. I think I'm a big fan of Virgil. Virgil Abloh, and I've read a couple things that he's put out. I went to his website, and he always talked about the 3% rule. If you can change something about 3%, that's kind of a good start. The glove is really basic and simple. The average golf glove is just a basic white glove. A lot of the times it'll be either PU leather, which is not real leather, a synthetic leather, and then there's other gloves that may have real leather. I think what was different about our gloves is that we wanted to create obviously an all white glove initially out the gate, but we wanted it to compete with everyone else. Meaning, if you put our white glove on and then you put on a Callaway or a FootJoy, and if you were to close your eyes and kind of put your hand in it, and if you tell me there's no difference, then it's a win for us as a small company because we're up against these behemoths of a company, and the average golfer couldn't tell the difference. But what we did differently is that we sourced the best leather, number one, and then number two, we also added a sweatband inside of our wrist. So it's something that you probably wouldn't even be able to see initially, but the sweatband in the wrist definitely helped. And then I worked with a manufacturer to create a special soft leather. So it's called a memory lock leather, meaning the minute the first person put their hands in it, balls their fist maybe 2 or 3 times, if any other hand goes into that glove and it's not extremely bigger, it's going to feel a little weird. So that glove is actually like fit for you. And we always feel like that's what's needed in the golf glove. It's like, this is tailored to you. Not anyone can put your glove on. And I think in my last video, it's such an intimate process that we wanted to just have something a little bit different that shows that this is your glove and not everyone else's glove. So the memory lock technology that we put into our glove, along with the sweatband, it's small changes, but it's what sets us apart from some of the other gloves out there.
So I don't know how much trouble I may get into this, but now that you mentioned the sweatband, I realize that, yeah, there is a difference. Because the other day I was playing around and I was wearing a regular FootJoy, a regular glove, and I noticed
Hmm.
my hand was really sweating. But
Right.
where I wear, I'm shamelessly saying this. I wear a 7-9 glove on a Sunday when I want to impress. So if I'm playing weekdays,
Yeah.
I
Right.
wear, so on Sunday when I put that on, I was like, okay, I don't notice it. The second thing that you mentioned that I can totally relate to is that I wear a ring, and my ring is pretty kind of like really thick. I notice, notice that every time I wear other gloves, I know, oh, I'm wearing a ring because the glove
Right.
kind of, but yeah, and those are things that now that you're saying it, I'm realizing I never thought about. So,
Right.
so it sounds like you took a lot of time around the details, making sure that it really worked really well around the gloves. So I want to shift gear around the shirts because I also have a shirt and I love the quality of the shirt,
Hmm.
right? So I have the basic tee and, I play with it, I think like yesterday. Here's what I noticed. The shirt feels really good. I don't have the proper fashion word to say, but it feels premium, which initially worried me because I'm like, I'm going to sweat and this thing's going to be a problem. But
Hmm.
yeah, it did not become an issue at all with me sweating. Is that something that you really, because I know that there is dry fit, technology and all that stuff, but
Right.
at first
Right.
glance, when you touch the shirt, it's just a premium shirt. But I can tell when I start to sweat that it does more than just that. Talk a little bit about what your process with that.
Right. Well, with our t-shirts, and it's funny that you mentioned that because I think that's the favorite piece to me. That's the favorite piece that we own. And one of the reasons why it's the favorite is because of what went into the selecting of that particular material. A lot of times people will do 100% polyester or 100% cotton, or they'll do a tri blend. What we were looking for was something that you'll be able to wash several times. Obviously, when you're playing golf, you'll be able to sweat, and it doesn't. Number one, it doesn't fade. Number two, it doesn't shrink. And number two, it keeps its consistency under those conditions, under being wet. It's still, sometimes, you sweat a 100% cotton shirt out, you start to get a bacon neck. If you pull it down, you start to see the streaks in the as you're pulling the shirt down. This is a lot different. We really went into a special blend. So and I don't have it in front of me, forgive me, but it's maybe like a 74-26 blend as an example to make the 100%. But at first it started at 50-50, and then we were like, no, we didn't like the 50-50. It felt a little bit too cottony. So let's go ahead and change it. Then it went to a 60-40 poly blend. We weren't a big fan of
Mm,
that. So the process actually took some time. And remember, this is me ordering samples upon samples, and getting samples overseas is going to take, a month or two to come. And that was the patience that we had to wait, ordering 3 to 4 different samples, touching it, feeling it, running out to the golf course, sweating it out, seeing how it feels, washing it twice, then taking a look at it and say, you know what, this is going to work or it's not going to work. It led us to the perfect blend that we have now. In all honesty, I was looking for more of. I didn't think about playing golf in a t-shirt because I'm also a traditionalist. But what I end up seeing is that we created a streetwear shirt that you can absolutely a streetwear t-shirt that you can absolutely go out on the golf course and practice with and play with. And it was like a beautiful thing when we started to realize like people are playing in it. I'm getting reports back like, oh, I played around in your t-shirt today and it was phenomenal and it held up nicely. I'm like, oh, it's absolutely a streetwear brand, a streetwear style shirt, but it has these additional sport qualities that the average streetwear shirt don't have. And that was a big win for us. So now, now we print our own blanks. We're only going to be using, we have a couple shirts, t-shirts coming out. And instead of us going to a regular manufacturer and saying, give me 100% cotton, no, we're specifically telling them, hey, this is exactly what we need because we want to keep the integrity of our brand intact.
yeah, yeah, I like that you saying that. And I know that you say you're a traditionalist. So the traditionalist in you, I could see created a product that's extremely non-traditional. What was your process in identifying the gap that 7-9 Golf could fill within while being a traditionalist at your level personally, but
Mhm.
still developing and creating a product that can be considered non-traditional.
Um, well, when I say a traditionalist, and you're absolutely right. We wanted to come out swinging. Meaning, if you took my logo and you put it up against FootJoy, you put it up against Callaway. At the time it was the Tiger Woods logo and all these other golf logos, and you just kind of just drop them all on the screen. And an average person would come up and you say which logo don't belong. They wouldn't pick my logo out of that bunch or
Mm,
Titus. They wouldn't know the difference. So that's what I was saying. A traditionalist. I didn't want to go with a crazy mascot. I
mm,
wanted to go with something that the 50-year-old white man can walk into a room, see our logo, and says, that looks pretty cool. And then the 12-year-old kid who's a junior golfer walks into the room and says, hey, that logo looks pretty cool. It doesn't stand out too far. And it kind of is a perfect fit for what I needed it to do. That's the logo style, or the logo, our mark. And then when it comes to the actual gear itself, adding a little bit of color is going to help. But before I wanted to add color, I wanted to show everybody that we had the quality. Once you believe in the quality of the product, then you will follow the product wherever it goes. Um, so once they see the quality, now I'm like, okay, let me sprinkle a little color. All right, so they just dropped the cool gray. I dropped these, grab these right here. Like they just dropped like the cool gray 11s, or the nines, whatever the case may be, or they'll have these. So let's add a gray glove, subtle, super subtle, and then kind of give them the gray glove, so they know the quality is going to be there. Now they're getting a little bit of color, and as we start to really dabble into things, and then they start doing the red shoe and these are all golf shoes here, and this is kind of what I look at when we create our styles. Is like, hey, what's going to be the next shoe to drop? So when they come up with something like this and it's like a really cool tan color, I want to be able to have a tan glove, a subtle tan glove that goes well with this particular shoe itself. And now we're covering all bases. So now we're covering the traditionalist who wants the black and white, but someone who wants to stand apart and say, you know what, I want something a little bit different. I want a red. Okay, you know what? Hey, here's a little red for you as well. And I think that's the difference. A lot of brands just aren't doing that, especially in the golf glove space. They're sticking to the black and white, which is fine, and I'm not mad at it, but that leaves us the room to kind of get in there and fill that void when it comes to adding a little bit of color.
all right, cool, cool. So I want to switch gear because we got to talk about golf. We got to talk about, you being on the course. And one of the questions I always ask people, it's a two-part questions. What does
Mhm.
golf bring for you in your life? And what does your personality, who you are, how do you bring that to the golf game?
Awesome. First of all, golf. I'm a competitor. I played college ball. I played basketball and sports throughout my life. But I think I'm a competitor, and I think golf brings a special type of a competitive skill that you have to have for the game. Not necessarily playing against someone else, but really just playing against the course. And I think a lot of times, as competitor, I need that. I need to be able to kind of go out there and compete, but it's also relaxing as well. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in the sun, you're in nature. You're hanging out with good company, maybe drinking a beer, smoking a cigar, whatever the case may be. So it's like a two part. Is that relaxing element that golf brings, and then it still has that competitive nature that's always going to be there as well when it comes to golf. And then your second question is basically what my personality and how it comes out in golf. I think people who play golf with me know I'm big in putting. So my personality really comes out when I'm putting. I make a 10-foot putt, you're gonna know about it. I make a 4-foot putt to tie and knock you out of the skins pot. Trust me, you're gonna know about it because at the time I'm big and brash, and I think like our brand, is gonna be like when you see a 7-iron hat, it just sticks out. When you see a 7-iron glove that's blue, it sticks out, and that's kind of how I operate. I'm quiet, I play my game, but if I do something good, trust me, you're gonna know and you're gonna hear about it. So that's kind of what we bring to the table.
I like that. I like that. So when you mentioned, playing the course, I was talking to my wife a moment ago because I've only started playing golf about a year. And the amount of golf I'm playing now, it's like I try to do at least 3 or 4 times a week. In the afternoon, I catch the super twilight. It doesn't matter. I'm getting something.
Right.
But About an hour ago, I was talking to my wife. She was asking me about handicap, and I was telling her that the golf course changes every single day. It's not the same. And she was baffled to really understand that, yeah, they move the flag around. Sometimes the tee box is moved back. So you're never really playing the same golf course all the time. And for you, it sounds like your approach is just as you mentioned it, you let people know. How do you compete with the course, but still being mindful who you playing with?
I mean, the course is the course. I always go into it saying if it's a par, 76 course or a par 75 course. I mean, I'm not a scratch golfer yet. I get it, but if I can kind of get as close to that number as I can, it's a win for me. So I kind of go into it thinking, and I always tell my friends this, like, you can play against me, but if you play against the course, you have a better chance, because you're playing against me. I hit a bad shot. Don't follow me because you're going to be in the woods with me. Like, really focus on the course. And I think that's kind of how the mindset is of playing the course. I just kind of go out there and I think of different mottos. I try to hit the ball where I can see. If it's a blinding shot that's 280 yards and I can't see 280 yards, I'm going to hit it 240 so I can at least spot my ball. So it's just different things. Like I think of course management. I think about chipping and putting, when to use the Texas wedge, when not. When to hit a flop shot, when to kind of just chip it up and let it roll out. So there's different ways of playing a course, and you're right. You can play a par three 4 times and have 4 different scores because you're
Yeah,
playing that par three completely different. You can attack the flag, you can fall short of the flag, you can go beyond the flag. So there's different ways of playing it. And I think that's one thing about the game is that the course changes so much. Believe it or not, the same course changes so much, all depending on where you hit the ball. That, I mean, it's never ending fun in golf, to be
right.
honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to hear, because I have stories. I want to hear some of your worst, best stories on the course. What give us
Ah,
like what you consider your best, like what you'd brag about your golf game.
mm, 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 mm. I think I played in a tournament. My fraternity has a huge tournament, and I played in a tournament maybe about 2 months ago, actually. Um, and I'm not playing the best. I'm not playing my best. And then someone says, let's bet. And it's something called greening. I'm not sure if you understand what greenies are, but when you play a par three, they'll play greenies. But greenie is closest to the pin from a
Yeah,
par
yeah,
three. And then when you get closest to the pin, they say you have to validate it, meaning you get close to the pin and then you also have to sink the putt to make the bird.
yeah,
Um, and I wasn't playing that well. I didn't hit a green like all day, and then here it comes. The guy was like $5 greenie, and the competitive edge of me just comes out, and I hit the ball within 2 feet of the green, 2 feet of the hole, and I get there, and they're looking at me like puzzled, like, man, you ain't hit a shot that good all day. And I'm just like, man, it just happens. And then I went ahead and sinked the putt. So like stories like that is the reasons why you continue to play and you continue to seek the game out, because you have moments like that when you're not playing good, but then there's just small little inklings of excellence that come out that make you say, I love this game. I'm going to play it again. So I think that's probably like the best. And I think the worst is, anytime I can't come off the tee box, I'm 6'4", 280 pounds. I'm a big guy. So when they see me come off the tee box and I go like 100 yards, it's just like it's so embarrassing because everyone expects so much more out of me.
yeah.
And at times I just don't have it. It's just like it was a bad swing. And I mean, people never let that up. So they always talk bad about me when I hit it 200 yards.
I mean, you could always take a mulligan unless you taking one. It's the second one.
Now, but listen, not with these guys I play with. There is no mulligans around. It's like, no, you take a
Uh,
mulligan, I'm going to owe 10, $15.
so your group is brutal. They don't play around.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I think you'll get there too. Look, I think you'll get there too. To a certain point, when you start playing with guys and it's competitive, and you're like, oh, it's $5 a hole, or $3 a hole, or $1 a hole, or a quarter a hole. It doesn't matter. Anytime money is put up, your
Yeah.
heart beats different. You think about the game differently. Yeah, guys, not letting that up. You only take mulligans at scrambles when you pay for them. Other than that, no, it's
Mm,
it's 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 tough golf. with the guys that I played with here in Houston. It's tough. Even in Florida, when I played in Florida, I think that's when I was really cutting my teeth. They were tough. They were tough. No breakfast balls, no mulligans. Anything within the leather was good, but anything outside the leather was not good. It was pretty tough.
Wow. I just got with the group. We just got together and we played, and I got to birdie simply because if I didn't, I'd be paying $5. So
Right,
third
right.
hole, I birdied that. So now, okay, I'm not paying no money, but I gotta steal your idea about paying for mulligans because that could get a lot of money. I play with a couple of guys. One guy in particular who loves taking those mulligans. So
Yeah,
I
no
definitely,
mulligans here.
yeah, yeah. So from what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like you're always looking for opportunity to improve, right, in your golf game, and
Hmm.
which I can see how that can translate to your business. But I want to ask about your leadership style with your business. Are there any parity? Are there any comparison with who JD is on the course and your leadership style?
Oh, such a good question. And I'm obviously I'm going to say yes. And one of the reasons why I think at times I can be a perfectionist. In all reality, you go on the website right now, you may see 3 to 4 gloves, and I have 12 gloves here ready to go. But I'm a perfectionist in the sense of everything needs a proper rollout, and I think that's what I'm working with now with a business partner of mine. Is like, what's the rollout? I don't want to just say here's a red glove, everyone enjoy. No, what's the rollout to the red glove? Should it be a Valentine's Day glove? Should it be a anniversary of some type of massacre to show in golf? Obviously, you know, as a Tiger Woods Sunday, let's drop a red glove. It has to be a rollout. And at times, as I'm sitting on product and I'm thinking of the perfect time to roll it out, I find myself being a bit hard on myself because I'm delaying the process of just dropping this glove and giving it to the world. But without the proper rollout, it just doesn't work. As in with this gray glove that we have, and as the gray nines just dropped, and then Eastside just dropped a gray shoe, we were able to drop a gray glove the exact same day. Eastside dropped a gray nine, a gray Jordan 9. I mean, how ingenious is that? So not only are you getting the gray shoe, you're also able to go get the gray glove. That's the rollout. That's the process that I want to have. Being that particular. So I sit on some gloves. I'm thinking, hey, what's the next big release date? Or we have the U.S. Open. Okay, what's the colors for the U.S. Open? Okay, cool. It's whatever color they may have for the U.S. Open. Okay, cool. We have gloves lined up, ready to go. Let's link those two together. What's the next Jordan that's dropping? It could be 3 months from now, 4 months from now. That's fine. I'll sit on the product we have to make sure it aligns with the proper drop. So now when the teal, I think 14s are coming out, I want to have a teal glove ready to go. So now it aligns up, and I'm being true to my roots of saying I want to have the drop culture. When the shoe drop, we want to have the glove to drop with it. And that's kind of like my leadership style. So I take that to the course as well. Try and be a perfectionist. Try and know when to pull the flop shot out. When to take the driver, when to put the driver up and start hitting the irons off the tee box if you can't swing right. So those type of things I think about when it comes to like my leadership style.
So we know that all leaders they have blinders, and I appreciate that you're saying, it's like you couple things. You want to make sure that the rollout is seamless. It's almost the way that you described dropping the gray glove the same time other products around the same color. You're creating a frictionless opportunity for your consumers to just jump in. Oh, I'm grabbing the gray shoes. Gray gloves will go well with that, right? So
Right.
what do you see? And those are all great things, but as a leader, how does that sometimes create blinders for you? That sometimes you may reflect on, like, well, yeah, I want the perfect rollout, but what's the what how is it affecting my other aspect of the business?
I think about that all the time. Actually, again, I'm sitting on 12 gloves right now. I can just put them on the website, and as you go to the website, you can make a purchase. I do think about that, but as a leader, it's a risk you have to take. We're not in a position where Seven Iron is paying my bills every month. I'm not in that type of a position. You know, Seven Iron's a new company. I always say if you can't start a company and be willing to take a loss for the first 5 years, then you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
So I would rather I would rather sit back and think about, you know, if I want to go far, I go, you know, when I say I want to go far, I go with a team. If I want to go fast, I go by myself. And I think now I'm thinking about going far. And going far means strategizing. Going far means working with other people. Going far means really thinking about this in a more of a cohesive thought and idea versus just like, let's just get out there and just have 12 gloves, put them on the website and have anyone kind of pick. It's like, no, I want to build a story behind it. I want to build a story on why you want this glove. And I think that's more impactful. So I do think about both styles. I do think about, hey, just put it out there and how it could impede my bottom line for the year. But I'm already thinking of a loss for the next 3 years now. I'm not necessarily pressed to just go out there and say, hey, buy my stuff, I need you to. It's just
Right.
like, no, buy it because I want you to. Buy it because you want to. Buy it because you see the purpose and the reason and being 100% Black owned business. And you see what we're trying to do. And we're trying to create culture within culture. You know, golf is one culture, but we're trying to create the sneaker culture along with the glove culture. And it all comes together to make one. And I think that's going to be the beauty of it.
Yeah, good synergy. I like that. So you mentioned Seven Iron is not paying the bills. You're not rolling out in the Rolls Royce, you know, with Seven Iron emblem in it and all that stuff. So what do you find most rewarding for you where right now, at this moment, you know, the bottom line is not creating, you know, capital in the way that you would want, right? What's rewarding for you as sort of like, okay, I'm not getting dollars, but this is rewarding. Like, what's the rewarding part for you as a golf entrepreneur here?
Great question. And when I let me backtrack. And when I say Seven Iron isn't paying my bills, Seven Iron is paying Seven Iron bills. You know, we're two
Right.
separate
Yeah.
entities here. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
one thing I would say, Seven Iron is definitely taking care of Seven Iron bills for sure.
Okay.
But in the sense of paying my bills, I mean that's a double income. I don't expect my companies to kind of come in and take care of me and my family. I need my company to take care of the company, and everything
Right.
else will come. So I say that to say every time I get a note from someone saying, I cannot believe how great this glove is, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me employed with Seven Iron, you know,
Mm.
is that I know that people are reaching out to me. I have messages in my phone when someone says, hey, I received the wrong glove, or hey, this glove is a little too big. Could you send me another? I go out there, you know, I send them another glove. They'll help pay for shipping, whatever the case may be, we'll come together. And then the message I get after, man, thank you for working with me. I appreciate what you guys are doing. This glove made my day. You know, my wife can't believe I actually found a glove that I really enjoy because she hears me, you know, bitching about all these other gloves that I don't like. Like those are the small things that make me say, all right, we're on the right path. Um, and it's just like we're in good shape. Definitely in good
Right.
shape right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So then I'm gonna rephrase the question a different way. What's the most rewarding mistakes you've made?
The most rewarding mistake was ordering ordering 600 gloves without getting a sample. That was the most rewarding mistake because it'll never
Say
happen
more a
again.
little bit about that. Say more a little bit about that. I'm curious.
Yeah, just I I saw a glove online that I really liked from a manufacturer. I wouldn't tell you the region of the world, but um, and I was like, man, this manufacturer he understands, they gets it. And I simply just was like, you know what, I want 600. Oh, no, I said I want 100, and they were like, we only do a minimum of six. I said, okay, cool, I'll take it. You know, this is very, very, very early in Seven Iron. I didn't even have my artificial logo yet. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. And you know, I paid for it through a platform that didn't even allow me to kind of get my money back. But I was just young, dumb, and just ready to kind of see a product in hand. Um, and I learned a valuable lesson that, you know, sometimes you look at a product online, but if you don't really touch it, feel it, and hold it, and you're gonna get burned. And I think I got burned after ordering 600 gloves, and they come to my house, and the minute I put the glove on and it ripped, I knew like this wasn't the leather that they told me it was. But what's valuable about that lesson is that it allowed me to research and do ample research. So if that happened in year one, by year three, I am a full expert when it comes to leather. I know exactly what leather can do, what it can hold, the types of leather, the synthetic leathers, the different variations of leather, the dyeing process of leather, how to dye leather, how not to dye leather. So that issue that again super early in my career, I look back at it and I shake my head because I cannot believe it's like buying a house sight unseen or buying a car without test driving it. I bought 600 gloves very early in my career without really doing the proper testing that I probably should have. And I was burned in the process. And, you know, I took the idea of I'm big on my brand. I did not want to like give these gloves away just because they had the 7 Iron name on it. So I threw them all away. I cut them and I threw them away. And people were like, "Oh, you could have gave them away." But at the end of the day, an inferior glove would be circulating in the market with my 7 Iron brand on it. That's an issue for me. So we just threw them away.
Wow, man, yeah. So I think this reminds me of I don't remember where I read that quote, but it said fell quickly and really early, right? So like you learned the
Yep.
lesson so early, so now it's built you right to where your product has value, good quality. Had it not happened, then I don't know what it would. So I will just a few more questions. I want to understand what's next for 7 9, 5 to 10 years, if you think that long, or if not, 3 to 5.
Um, yeah, man, we think about this all the time. I can't I can't go into exactly what's next. 'Cause it's I think it's going to be a disruptor in the industry. I couldn't really go into like exactly what's next 5 years from now. But what I tell you is that we'll be everywhere within the next 3 to 5 years. And it's not, and I say everywhere, not in the sense of I don't see our brand ever being on a pro golfer. That's not what we don't. They don't move the needle um, unless you're like a Rory or so. But even that, in a sense, may not move the needle. Um, I don't see myself. I don't see us like hosting a golf tournament under someone. We will host our own tournaments, but I don't see us being a major sponsor of the golf tournament because I also feel that doesn't move the needle. I think we'll be so localized in country clubs across America that that's what's going to take us to the next level. Um, and really working with influencers moving forward. They're the ones that move the needle. They're the ones that really kind of get things going and is pushing this golf thing in a whole new direction. You'll start to see more money going towards influencers than they'll be going towards pros because pros really don't move the needle, unfortunately, anymore.
Mm. I based on anything I'm reading, right? That's a both innovative but also a very rebellious thought process, right? So it sounds like you're going against the grain in all the way because you're not trying to get the pros, you're not trying to, do the big thing. And it almost sounds as it's like your grassroots at the local level. So I want to understand what got you there because I would imagine as someone who's building a brand as an entrepreneur in the first few years, you'd want to see Tiger Wood with the 7 Iron golf on it. So how did you get there to say, no, this is not where we're going? Here's where we need to grow from the roots up.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of research. I've done marketing for so many years. This isn't my first company. This is my third company when it comes to selling a product. And you start to realize who can really move the needle when it comes to moving a product. So we're starting to see the power of influencers versus the power of a pro golfer. A pro golfer who wears your glove, um, they half the time the gloves, they'll swing with it, you can barely see it, put it in their back pocket, and they're gone. So if I told you two pro golfers right now was wearing our glove, and if I told you their names, and if they're not, the Rorys, the Scotty Schefflers, the Shoffleys of the world, or all the top major players, you wouldn't even hear about them. So if there was a tour pro I'll give you an example, the 20th best player in the world, and he's wearing 7 Iron gloves. no one would care. And he would want $500,000 or $250,000 to be our exclusive sponsor, or whatever the case may be, or our exclusive athlete. What's the point? It doesn't make any sense. I can take that, $40,000, $50,000 and dump it into influencers who really move the needle. The Roger Steeles of the world, the Rory Black-Leroy of the world. They really move the needle. People like Golf Projects, Raymond at Golf Project, doing a phenomenal job. I want to build a relationship with those guys because they're the ones who have 40,000 followers, 50,000 followers. Roger has even more. And these guys are able to kind of say, hey, take a look at this product. And I'm able to kind of reach 10 to 15 to 14,000 people who can at least take a look at my product. The average golfer can't do that, unfortunately. The average golfer is not even allowed to say, my game is great because of this glove. They probably wouldn't even say that, unless you're paying them XYZ. And they say, you're so great, but you're the 20th golfer. What's the first golfer saying? What's the second golfer saying? Your ranked golfer saying? So it just seems as if we're just moving away from that. And in all fairness, Malbon got it right with Jason Day. They got it right. Special products, super outliers, big baggy pants that are fire. Like, they got it right. But they got it right in such a disruptive way. You see how much they're hating on Jason Day now, but that hate is turning into sales. That makes sense for him and for Malbon. But the average, when it comes to a golf glove, is completely different. It's a different game. And I'd rather have testimonies. I'd rather have a small army with boots on the ground talking about our product and really moving it across America versus the 1s and 2 pros who are really not going to get anything done.
What's keeping you at night when it comes to 7-iron golf? What keeps you up?
Manufacturing issues. I think that's what it is. Sometimes you can, even now, I think working with different manufacturers, I think I will cry the day my manufacturer calls me and tells me he can't work with me anymore, because I love the relationship that we have, but we see it all the time. Sometimes, we work with different countries and there's a tariff on a particular country. And now, my golf gloves go from costing me, one price, and now that price is raised or double because of a different tariff, or because they can no longer ship because they've maxed out their shipping to the United States. That's what keeps me up at night. So now I'm in the process of working with 3 to 4 to 5 different manufacturers and kind of have like a tier series of tier 1 provider. Hey, can you get me this glove within this particular time? Hey, tier 3 provider, could you also work on this exact same glove, the exact same time? And what time can you get it to me? And now I'm like bouncing up. So what keeps me up at night is literally talking to the other side of the world, literally at 2 in the morning, because that's them 2 in the afternoon. So that's what really keeps me up at night, is making sure my manufacturers are on board and are able to deliver product to me efficiently.
So when you see someone with 7-iron gloves, what is your thought? So for example, let's think about the hat that you're wearing now. I'm sure you may have gone through your process, because your manufacturing process, it sounds like top tier. When you see someone with that, you as you mentioned, you appreciate the testimonial. But is there something that resonates for you that you like, yeah, I'm glad I've focused so much on how the stitching look, because something that the person who's wearing it may not even be aware of? What stands out?
Well, I think that happens more with our gloves, more than anything. I think the durability of our gloves. When I know they're playing with it, they ordered a 7-iron glove, and this is the issue that we do have. You order a glove in January, as an example, and you may not need to order another glove for March or April. That can be a problem, because there's some other brands out there where the gloves will last 3 to 4 rounds, and you're ready to order another one. We don't have that issue, which is a good issue to have. Unfortunately, you wear a glove, I may not see that customer for another 3 to 4 to 5 months. That's not necessarily a good thing, because I can't make them a returning customer as fast as I would like. But what I do know is that they're going to stick with me for the long haul, because it's a quality glove. And they've been like, damn, I've been playing with a 7-iron glove for about 3 months now. That's impressive. Let me go get another one. So the key is, the more different colors that we come out with, they know it's going to be the exact same great quality. They're going to get a white glove. They're going to get a gray glove. They're going to get a black glove. They're going to get a blue glove. And that's how we end up having these reoccurring business and reoccurring customers. I have customers now, he'll buy 4 gloves and say, all right, I'll see you next year. Or he'll buy 4 gloves and like, I'll see you in the next 7 months because he knows those four gloves are going to last. And I think when I see someone make a purchase of those gloves in bulk, I know they understand the quality and they're ready for the entire golf season, and they're ready to rock and roll with 7 iron. So it's a really good feeling.
So JD, man, I really appreciate you talking to me. Part of the questions that I have is like when you and I are gonna get on the field, because I'm in Houston, you're in Houston. But after hearing how you roll, I may circle back with you 5 years from now.
What's your handicap? What's your handicap?
There you go. There you go.
What's
Everything
your
was going
handicap,
well
man?
until trying to embarrass
What's
me
your
now.
handicap? I
Last
need to
time
know.
I-
It's not embarrassing. I need to know. I could put you with some people to get you right
21,
because we have golfers
well,
small
21 right now. 21.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm coming
All
up.
right.
I'm coming up. I got
Yeah.
my putting is right. I got the putting right. I got my approach shots correct. I just need to work on my tee box. You know, anything with wedge in their name, I manage those really well. Lob wedge,
Okay.
sand wedge, I do really well. I just need to
Where
get
are
on
you
the
where are you from, by the way? Where are you from? I hear an accent. Where are you
Oh
from?
yeah, I was born and raised in Haiti.
Nice.
And
My wife is Haitian. That's
oh
awesome.
yeah. Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. My wife is Haitian. My grandparents are Haitian. My mom's from Trinidad. I'm Trinidadian. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So a lot of time people get a little confused because not only do I have the Haitian accent, but I spent what 30 years in New York City. So there's that
Okay.
New York City thing also all mixed into one. So yeah.
Right.
So my goal is to bring it down. You know, like I got me right. No more three putts. That's going really well. I'm not three putting no more. I just need to do really well off the tee box. My driver's
Where do
killing me.
you play at? Where you play
I
at?
play my home course is Clear Creek Golf Course near 288. So that's where I play. But you know, every now and then I jump in at Herman Park, do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so in 3 years, when I get my handicap down to maybe 10, 11, I'm going to circle back and
It should be a lot quicker. If you're playing golf 3 times a day, your handicap should be 10 within the next, I would say, 6-7 months.
Okay, listen. So then,
Really, are you getting lessons? What you got going on over there? You getting lessons?
I got lessons. Yeah, I think like I got lessons the first time I started, and since I started a year ago, I've gotten like 2 lessons in between.
Okay.
But you know, I practice a lot. My wife is tired. While dinner's cooking, I wash the dishes real quick, and I'm putting in the living room.
Right.
The
I
other
love
day,
it.
I had to buy a new set of tires. Instead of throwing one of the tires away, I brought them home so I can practice impact, making sure that I can press the ball right.
I
I'm in
like
the
it.
backyard. I'm in the backyard. I'm doing stuff. I take my kids to practice while they're in track practice. I'm on the side with my 60, with my 54, working to
I love it.
yeah. So I'm trying. I'm trying to get to you. But I got time. I got time. I gotta focus.
Hey, that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you, and I definitely want to keep me abreast on your progress, man. I want to see how that works out for you.
I see what you did there, right? You heard the 21 8 got me like, you're not ready.
No,
Keep me abreast.
but I got some guys.
You're like, yeah, you're not ready. Keep
I
me
still got
abreast.
some guys for you, man. No, I got some guys for you. You gotta learn. Cause I tell you one thing: playing how you're playing now, but when you start playing against like guys who are really like betting, and it is simple bets, $1 a hole, whatever case may be.
Yeah.
It's a different game. It's a different game, man. It's a different game. It's like you tense up a lot more. So you got to test yourself in that environment. And I started playing at Clear Creek when I got to Houston. I was in the medical center, and I was playing at Clear Creek. Yeah, I played at Clear Creek. I was a member at Clear Creek for a couple months, and then I moved up north. So I'm a member now at Northgate. But yeah, I remember.
Okay.
So I'm laughing at Clear Creek because that course took a lot of balls from me. But
oh my God.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a story that I tell people. I think so. I started playing, and then a month later, I gave myself a month before I got on the course. Right. And then the first day that I got on the course, I went to Walmart, bought me a whole pack, like 12. I think it might have been like 18 balls in there. And then I got on hole 6. I don't know if you remember, hole 6 has water on the left. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that 6?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a par 5 with water on the left. Hole 2 has water on both ends, but hole 6, water on the left. Listen, it's a par 5. I lost 12 balls in that, and I had no more balls. I was walking, and I cried.
No.
Tears rolled down my eyes, and I walked back to the clubhouse, got in my car, and went home and came back the next day.
That's tough. That's tough, man. That's real tough. Yeah, if you play a slice, hole number 1, I played a nasty slice when I first got to Houston, and hole number 1, all my balls just went right, and it can be tough. It can be tough.
Listen, when I don't have balls, I forget to get balls. I don't have balls. That's where I go shopping. Hole number 1, that right side there, I walk there, grab
tons of balls, right?
Yeah. So JD, man, I really appreciate the support. I appreciate your product. You know, and I'm not just saying that because you did the interview, but I really like the product. So thank you so much. All right. Give my best to your family, and I wish you the very best, man. And I'll see you in 6 months.
There it is. It sounds good, man. You take care.
Let's talk more action golf.